it's your girl Nancy Red, author of The Real Body Manual, and this is Season 3 of Mompreneurs, where every week we celebrate beautiful Black entrepreneurs who are simultaneously amazing business moguls and awesome moms, listening to their life stories and inspiring advice. Now, I love it when my mompreneurs start their businesses because their kids inspire them to do so. And that's how a lot of my projects start. Like, for example, most of my books come from someone in my family inspiring me to write them, like my children's book, The Real Santa, which I actually wrote for my kids, especially my son, who loved Santa so much, and I wanted him to have a Black Santa picture book. And I didn't see one out there, and at the time mine came out, a bunch came out, so we're making waves and championing diversity in this podcast. And my next guest, Brooke Carrington, is doing the same. She had a similar inspiration when she started her Black Santa stationery company, Rappers Delight the Rap Culture, which I fell in love with when I was on my book tour for The Real Santa. And in addition, she has her own streetwear line, Brooke Duran Apparel, and what I love, with her college sweetheart husband, she's also the co-host of the Balanced Behavior podcast that focuses on positive displays of Black love, family, and entrepreneurship. Brooke, I am so happy to have you here.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. What an honor.
Well, I have been obsessed with you for the longest. I found you when we were all still kind of bundled up during the pandemic.
Yes.
I was in the middle of my book promotion for The Real Santa, and I was writing an article for the New York Times, and I was just like, I got to include Rappers Delight the Rap Culture, if only because I'm obsessed with the name and the designs.
And I screamed. I said, "Oh my God, the New York Times! We're in the New York Times!" It was just so big. The smallest mention was the biggest mention to me, and I'm so grateful.
Oh, well, I'm so grateful for everything that you do. We're going to talk all about all of your mompreneurship angles, especially because it seems that we have some community in common, right? Is a cousin of yours one of my neighbors?
Yes, my cousin Lois. Hey,
this
Lois.
Is wild. You can't keep
and
us
who
from
knew?
anything.
Like, who knew? Like, it's just crazy how things work out. It's such a small world.
It is. I am thrilled. It makes me really happy to know that we are comrades, not just in mompreneurship, but also in community. So
Yes.
Before we get into your mompreneurship, we've talked about your extended family just now, but let's talk about who makes you a mom. Talk to us about your household.
All right. So I'm married. I've been married for 14 years. We just celebrated our 14th anniversary on July 31st. And we have a 11-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter, Xavier the second and Alani.
I love that. And they are so sweet, and they are ride or die with you in all of your business ventures.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But what came first, being a mom or being an entrepreneur?
Being a mom. Being a mom came first. It was it was like something that was kind of just destined to happen. I never expected it. But when my son was born, my husband has the same passion for fashion that I have. And at the time, we were like always wanting to put him in bow ties. And my husband loves bow ties too. So I was like, I'm going to start making bow ties for him. So way back then, he's 11 now, so 12 years ago, we started making bow ties, and the company was called Creative Knots. And that's where it started with the whole entrepreneurship journey for me, was there.
I love that.
Yeah.
And so we went from Creative Knots, and now you are multifaceted as a mompreneur. Talk to us about what I call the hustle hierarchies. What makes up the bulk of your business income today?
So, as a mompreneur, we, aside from parenting and marriage, I'm also juggling a 9-to-5. So, I am still fortunate enough to be able to have my career in banking as well. And, the great thing about the entrepreneurship side of it is that I get to display my passions full-fledged and Rapper's Delight and in Brooke Duran. And quite honestly, they're both very successful. So it's kind of hard to say which one is, the more lucrative. I guess you would probably say Brooke Duran from the aspect of Rapper's Delight is seasonal.
Right.
So, yeah, I will go with Brooke Duran, the apparel line.
And this is very important. This is an inclusive mompreneur show. I have a 9 to 5. I love my career, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. And also, when you're a mom, hedging your bets is not a bad idea. You do not need to just go full-fledged. Sometimes, I actually was just having a really interesting conversation, and this as a banker, one of the great things about having a career, you actually can sometimes put more into your business because you have the support. One of the things is financing, right?
Absolutely. And, like you said, it's such a benefit, because as opposed to, like a lot of not just moms, but people in the workforce in general, it can be very debilitating. People, they're unhappy in their careers. But for me, like, my job is not stressful, and people often say, because they see me, in entrepreneurship, and they say, all right, Brooke, when you put in your 2 weeks notice, we know it's coming. And I'm like, as long as the bank will have me, I will have the bank. Okay. I am in no hurry. Thankfully, I'm able to have the support from my 9 to 5 that will allow me to also focus on my businesses. I recently took a sabbatical, which they give us to focus on work-life balance and to flourish in our side hustles, so to speak. And that's actually a part of the description. Like, I really work for a great company aside from entrepreneurship. So I'm thankful, blessed to be in the position that I am in, to be able to do all of this at once and have the support from my 9 to 5.
I love that. And it's it's no surprise your podcast has this word. It's very balanced.
Yes. And, it's funny because my husband and I are both Libras, and that's the scales. So that's how we came up with balanced behavior. And we're so big. I don't know, maybe you could say it's because we're Libras. I don't know. But we are really big on finding the balance in everything that we do. Is so important, because without that, you're unbalanced.
And then that's the truth. So in your balance, you're doing a great job of
Yes.
balancing your businesses, balancing your banking career. You started with the bow ties. When did the bow tie business phase out?
The bow tie business phased out when, it was, oh my gosh, so many orders were coming in. And it became too much for me to manage. I was one person, and I was actually sewing.
You were sewing the bow ties?
Yes, I was sewing the bow ties.
With a full-time job and a baby.
With a full-time job and a baby. First-time mom at that. And so it became a lot. And, it just kind of dwindled out. It's one of those things that, you say, I'm going to take a little break, but I'll be back. And then you just kind of continue to just stay in that place of complacency and just enjoy the peace a little more, and so it was just one of those things where it was good for a season, and it was time for new things to, come out of the horizon. So it just kind of dwindled out, fizzled out on its own.
And that's okay.
Absolutely.
Part of it is you had the journey, you had the success. You could have expanded it, but it just was not the time or the season.
It wasn't the time. It wasn't the season, and it was good for the time period. That's the time period it was meant for. I don't have any regrets, or I don't even feel the need to bring it back. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just know when things naturally deserve another chance, or if it's in you. And right now it's just not in me. Maybe one day it'll come back, but for now it's okay. It's
Well,
okay.
it's okay in particular because you listened to your gut about something else in
Yes.
2020. Talk to us about the
Yes.
origins of the new phase of your mompreneurship. We went from bow ties, we took a break, and then
Mm-hmm.
something sparked inside of you.
Yes. So, like you, in 2020, we were all in the pandemic, and it was, oh my God, unreal, unheard of. The world was shut down. And I was just sitting in my room one day, and I even put this on Facebook. I said, y'all, this is the year of 2020. 2020 is clear vision. Like, what is your vision? Let's take advantage of this free time that we have. We're stuck at home. Either you're going to take advantage of this time to figure out what your passions are, you're going to take this time to be involved with your family more, reconnect with your loved ones, um, or just work on you. And the idea of Rapper's Delight came to me that next morning in the middle of the night. I was asleep. I promise you, I lie to you not. I woke up at like 2 a.m., somewhere in that time range, with Rapper's Delight on my mind. And I said, oh my God, what is this? My husband's next to me, sleep. I mean, sleep. And I sit straight up in my bed thinking of this black Santa. And
Oh,
there he
I
is.
love him. And he's winking. That's his signature look.
Yes. So this black Santa came into my head. Mind you, it's the middle of June. So it's like, why am I even thinking about Christmas at this point? Granted, it is my favorite season. It is my favorite time of year, my favorite holiday. But it just came to me in my sleep. I sat straight up in the bed and I said, God, I'm listening. I did not go back to sleep. I said, okay, what are we going to name this? Rapper's Delight. Right in my lap. I said, okay, God, thank you. And immediately I got on Google. I searched up the name to see if the domain was available. I snatched the domain. All of this while I'm in my bed. I did all of it
Your
because it
husband's
just,
sleeping next to you.
yes. It just felt so natural and God given. It was something God was telling me to do. And it was, like you said, it was such a gap in the market of Black Santas. We weren't seeing it. It was very few and far in between of where we would find a Black Santa. Thankfully, a lot of other people had the same idea, right? And
I call it the Black Santa Bonanza, but it was needed.
yes,
It was
it was
exciting.
so needed. It was so needed. And you're right. It was a very exciting time because collectively, all of these creatives that had this idea executed, and we have filled the gap that once was. And now you can go into the store and you can find Black Santas like you're looking for a pair of socks.
I got a Black Santa shower curtain at Marshall's. That said, I think it's very important that just because you can, there's a beauty to pioneers like you who put your money on the line for the culture and supporting small businesses.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I had no idea even how to get this done. Nancy, when I tell you this was bigger than me, like God really put this into me. I give him all the credit because I never thought I would have a stationary line. Like, this is not something I grew up wanting. This is not something I ever thought about having. And one thing that I took from the pandemic was execution. Like, no more second guessing for me. Like, when God puts something in me and it feels clear, 2020, like, I'm going all in. Just like I did that night. I had a brand new business before the sun came up that I didn't even think about the day before. Like, I secured everything. All the thing I needed to do was get to the courthouse or downtown and get my LLC.
Well, you had not yet secured the actual drawing or the paper. You had
Right,
secured the
no.
idea. Like
The
what you secured
idea.
was the name, the website, and the dedication to saying this was going to be your journey. And
That's
this ended
right.
up working out very well. So when your family woke up, what did you tell them?
I
Santa had
said,
come, literally. Santa came in June.
Santa came in June. I looked to my husband when he woke up. I said, guess what? We started a business last night. He's like, what? And I'm like, I need you, because my husband is an artist too. He does a lot of painting and murals and graphic arts. And I said, I need a black Santa. Can you design this black Santa for me? And I also would love to have a Mrs. Claus to go along with that, so we can display the black love and promote that too.
So sweet. I love yes. It's
Yeah.
such a cute thing.
And so, I mean, he got right on it, and that's one of the biggest blessings that I've had in life, is having that support from my spouse. We really work well together as a team in everything that we do. And, he's such a motivator and a force in the success that I've had today.
I did what now? Is he a graphic designer or?
He is. He's a great. I mean, what is he not? He's a graphic designer. He's a muralist.
Oh,
He's a painter. He does contemporary art. He's a tattoo artist. Anything art, he is.
well, you're lucky. I mean, I'm surprised you don't have 8 billion businesses. I would be
Right.
milking it if
Oh
my
my
husband.
God. It feels like sometimes we do have a billion businesses, because we get so many requests to do certain things, t-shirts, I mean, tattoos, graphics, logos, you name it. I have a graphic design background as well. That's what I got my degree in.
Oh,
So we get a lot of, people just know the skill sets that we have, and we just, sometimes you got to know how to say no. But a lot of
that's you.
times we just love what we do. So it's hard to say no a lot of times.
When the love shows through in your adorable winking black Santa
Yeah.
for everyone. We'll talk about this later on too, but anyone listening right now, you can go to rappersdelight.shop. What is the
Yes.
website that people can go to,
They
right?
can go to www.rappersdelight.shop, and that is rappers with a W.
And you can see the original. This is the original
Yes.
print from 2020 that your husband
Yes.
made up. But there's a huge difference between a print and a stationery company. If your
Yes.
husband's sitting on his computer for free, that doesn't just translate immediately into a sold out line
That's right.
later on that year.
That's right. That's right. It took a lot of guts, really, to execute this. We really took a leap of faith, and just we had to do the work. We had to do the research. I had no idea how to print wrapping paper. I knew we wouldn't be able to do it at the scale that I wanted to do it. Um, so I just, Google. Thank God for Google, and telling me, how to find manufacturers, and vetting out the best manufacturer to use, and and it's just amazing how it just all came together so seamlessly. In time for us to come out that very same year. Like, I was thinking, like, okay, this is a great idea. Yes, I'm going to execute, but I don't expect, like, I would not be surprised if we were not able to launch this Christmas, because we're already in June, like, at the time where this idea came into fruition. And so I'm like, okay, well, let's just get started, and maybe we'll do a soft launch closer to Christmas with like a little small product line. But honey, no. God said, no, we're doing it big. And I said, okay, hey, I'm along for the ride. I'm the puppet in this. Everything else is orchestrated by the man above. It's not me. And we started off with 500 rolls. I bought the OG paper so you all can see this right here. This was the OG. We got
That's the original. That's the initial print.
Yes, this is the initial print. We got two colors. We did red and green, and I got 500 of each of these colors. And that's all we started with was two designs, 500 rolls a piece. And we sold out. We sold completely out. And I was taken aback. I said, "Woo, Lord, you are showing out." And it was overwhelmingly amazing. At not one point throughout the process did we feel stressed. Never did we feel overwhelmed. We were just rewarded for being faithful and following what God told us to do.
So after you sold out the first time, what were the next steps?
So after we sold out, the next step was, okay, let's get back in the design studio. Let's come up with some new designs. And we always told ourselves that we will always house the OG designs, the two designs I just showed you, because that's where we got our start. So the next year we said, okay, we're still a small business, so we're just going to introduce two new designs. We're not going to come out with this whole, we got to take it easy. So from there we developed the children. We have the Nutcracker ballerina. So we've got the ballerina here and the Nutcracker here, and we came out with two colors. Again, we try to always come out with two colors of each design. And that was the next step. And then from there, we would also do pop-up shops and, just different little things where we could push ourselves and get our name out there. We were included in a lot of media, not podcasts, newscasts. We were on TV a couple of times all over, not just locally. And it was, it was amazing. It was a time. It was a time, unforgettable time.
And here we are. You're going into your fourth Christmas season, right?
Yes.
How many? What's changed from the initial 500 per roll print run? How many rolls are you printing this year?
So this year we're still sticking to the 5 and 5, only because we have so many designs now. Now we are
so you're doing 5 of each now.
Right. So we have this is one of our other newest designs. We've got the medley, I like to call it, the holiday medley. It's got a lot of different Christmas sayings and the reindeer, and of course we have Santa here as well, somewhere in here wrapped up, and Mrs. Claus, and then we introduced the Nutcracker. So we like to like I said, come out with two that go together. So these are like the perfect pair, the perfect match. And we also introduced the gift bags, like I showed earlier.
And they are $4.50 each.
Yes. And then one of the things that we learned, we love hearing the voice of the customer, right? And we try our best to accommodate the customers. So we would come across a lot of people that say, we don't wrap. We don't like to wrap. I hate wrapping gifts. So we said, okay, no worries. We got boxes.
So
we came out with boxes. Yep. And it's 6 in a pack. You get 2 of each size. You get 2 small, 2 medium, and 2 large boxes. And of course, like I said, we have the bags too for those that don't like to wrap. But it doesn't stop there. It does not stop there. Aside from
amazing. I love this. We went from a couple of rolls to a whole product line.
So now we've got pajamas.
Oh my goodness, you got jammies now.
Yeah, we've got the family pajama sets. And that was the onesie. And then we have the shirt with the pants to go along with it. So
and that's so great. Because what's really fun is we all love matching. I see you on Instagram. You love to match your family.
Yes.
And I have not seen a Black Santa matching pajama set yet. And I have been looking. Well, that's not true. Okay. Yes and no. I remember around the same time that your wrapping line first came out, Old Navy was the first mainstream brand. Do you remember when they did Black Santa jammies? I bought it all out. Because I was just so excited. But like I said, it's also really special when you can buy from someone who directly is wearing it in their own family. Because all of
Yes.
this started, it wasn't just like you love Christmas or you love Santa, your kids did too.
Yes. And that was a big motivation piece too, because, with it being my favorite holiday, and, of course, it's most kids' favorite holiday too. I wanted them to see themselves, and I know we hear that a lot, especially from, creators like us who came out with these product lines. Like a lot of that is was our driven force, was to let our children and all the children of the world that are like us to see themselves represented. And, like the saying goes, representation matters. And when I created this, and the fact that my children know that mommy and daddy created this, they are so inspired. The inspiration that we see in them, the way their eyes light up every Christmas. I will always remember the look on their face when we showed them, like when we launched and showed them the wrapping paper for the first time. Oh my gosh. Amazing. I mean, if nothing else, it gave me the motivation to never stop doing this. And it's one of those things that they want to, that they want to be involved in too. They give me ideas all the time. Mommy, this Christmas we should do this. Mommy, we should come out with these toys that, and I'm like, okay, guys, I don't know about going into the toy business now. Like, come on. Like,
well, maybe they will though, and that's the
right.
beauty of it, right?
Right.
Like I laugh because we have so many different entrepreneurial ventures in our household. One of them being the entertainment industry, and I think one of the fun things is for my husband. He's been an actor since he was 18 years old. So then, when our children wanted to be actors, it was much easier for them because we call ourselves entertainment immigrants. Because we came into entertainment just around the corner from your cousin Lois.
Yeah.
Just we didn't have any knowledge about what's going on or how to do it. We had to figure it out ourselves. So when the second generation comes, it's just like, oh, okay, this is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do, and boom, a career out of nowhere, right?
Out of nowhere.
Kids. So, and that's a form of generational wealth, is this knowledge wealth that you're transferring at such an early age.
Yes, absolutely. And it's so important. It's so important. And just being able to instill that drive and force within them is, the ultimate blessing. And of course, it's what we as parents want. We want to be that inspiration and source of motivation for our children. So it's great. I mean, they are definitely creatives in their own way.
One of the best things about having a business is, again, learning from your mistakes, teaching your children, but also teaching other people, right? So people listening, this sounds amazing and it sounds streamlined, right? It sounds like you're like, I had an idea. I got some gift wrap from the internet. I put it on for sale, and each year I kept growing and growing. But we both know it's a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah,
What is a fail that obviously turned into a win, because you cannot win without failure, right? But what is an experience that you had that you try to avoid, help people avoid who are coming after you, who are trying to do something similar?
Yeah, so I would say probably one of the biggest ones, the biggest hurdle I had to overcome was in the beginning, our first year in business. We were dealing with COVID, and, again, the Black Santa was very hard to find. So, of course, we were getting orders like crazy. Thankfully, we had the inventory to fulfill them. However, with COVID being out there were issues with the postal service. People weren't getting their orders. They were delayed. And I think one of the biggest lessons I learned from that was when you get that, when the customer reaches out and says, hey, help me find where's my order, or, can I have a refund, or when it's something that's out of your control, just send out more. Just send out more. That's the best thing to do, just to maintain that positive customer relationship, that positive customer experience. Just eliminate the frustration from their point of view and say, hey, you know what? I know the post office is delayed, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to just send you some more out, and hopefully this one won't be delayed. You know, let's take another chance. Let's try to get you what you ordered and, you know, get these presents wrapped up under your tree. You know, I think that's probably the biggest challenge that I had. I had maybe, out of all the customers that we had that very first year, I think I probably had maybe 10, which is good, 10 to reach out because their package never arrived, which of course, you know, is out of our control. You know, we can't really control that. However, being a first-time owner with a business this successful, I was afraid of running out of inventory with all the orders that I still had left to fulfill. Mind you, it's just me and my husband, so we are trying to manage customer service. We're trying to fulfill orders. We're trying to, aside from, you know, all of this, we also were printing hoodies and shirts with the Santa on it. And we were doing all of this in our house. And it was really, really, I was really afraid of saying, hey, I've got more that I can send out to you. And I wish that I would have just, you know, like I said earlier, just like, you know what, it's okay. I'm going to send these to you, and we're going to make this right. That's probably the biggest lesson I learned throughout this whole process.
Because you have to look at it as like an aggregate, right?
Yes.
Like you can't look at it as an individual thing where, well, I'm going to, you know, that's like another $8 or whatever. You just got to look at it like, you know what? We're just trying to get over the hump without a bunch of chaos.
Right, exactly. And then it was like, you know, so, you know, as soon as I send out these, then you're going to get the ones that you've been missing.
But it's irrelevant. It's just part and parcel.
Exactly.
You just look at it as advertising. You know, and I think that's great. And so that's a great example. You learned. And after that, you have these problems. You can't take it personally. It's something that I struggle with. You know, whenever I make mistakes, I just had to remember everybody makes mistakes. Even God makes mistakes. Like yes. Sometimes, but the mistake is not just a mistake. That's what we have to stop thinking about that word, right? It is what it's meant to be to get you to where you need to go, right?
Exactly.
And so other things that people need is advice. So anyone listening, I'm sure you actually are a very inspiring person because you're, like you said, you're balanced. You have your businesses, you have your banking career, you have your family. You don't grow too much. You grow evenly and steadily to not burn yourself out because you don't want a bunch of chaos. So what is your advice for the mom who in the middle of the night wakes up with an idea on her mind as well?
Oh my goodness. Go for it. You know, what's the worst that could happen? What's the worst that could happen? I mean, some words that I live by are grace in every challenge, gratitude in every success. And as a mompreneur, it's essential to give yourself grace during difficult times and to always stay grateful. Stay grateful for the progress you make, no matter how small. So go for it. Whatever that dream is, if you don't execute or if you don't at least try, you'll always be wondering, well, what if? What if? And then when you see somebody else come out with what you wanted to do, you're going to be like, see, I should have done it. You know, so go for it. Believe in yourself. What's the worst that could happen? Just be smart. Be smart about it. Yeah.
And have fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so we always end our podcast with my favorite segment, which is called Mompreneurs Manifestation, which is where I ask our guests what's next for you or what you're hoping comes next and how we can help to manifest success in this endeavor.
What am I hoping will come next? I have so many aspirations. I want to expand both businesses to reach more people. I also want to create more opportunities to mentor and support other women, especially mothers who are navigating entrepreneurship. And on a personal level, I'm always striving for growth. whether that's learning new skills or finding new ways to balance my personal and professional life. There's always more to achieve, and I'm excited about what the future holds. Who knows? I might wake up this, at 2 o'clock in the morning with a new idea. So
I love it. I'm here for it. You have great ideas, and I'm going to tell you right now, I cannot wait to get that nutcracker wrapping paper for my mom. We collect black nutcrackers. She has a giant life-size one that I have. It's a whole mood. Brooke, tell everyone where you can find the Black Santa stuff, the Black Nutcracker stuff, your clothing line. Where can they find all of these things and learn more about all of the work that you do?
So you can follow me on Instagram, my personal page at Brooke_Deron. That's BROOKE_DERON. And there you'll get to see a little bit more of my personal side, my love for fashion. I like to try to give tips for my ladies on how to shop affordably and not break the bank when it comes to your fashion and style. And then when it comes to the wrapping paper, follow us on Instagram at Rappers Delight Official. Rappers Delight Official. Again, that's rappers with a W. And let's see. Then we have for the clothing line, that is Shop Brooke Deron. That's DERON. And then for the podcast, you can follow us at Balanced Behavior 1 on Instagram. Yeah.
Amazing. So you heard her, everybody. We appreciate you. Again, I'm so happy. I always feel like some people who I've known from afar, just because of the amazing work that they do and the amazing businesses that they've created, that I know them. And I can't believe this is the first time we were meeting, but it feels like I've known you forever, and hearing your story and how it's affected your family is just very inspiring. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you, and I wish you the best in everything that you are doing. I'm so proud of you, and you are so inspiring as well. Thank you so much.
That's the sweetest mom thing ever. I am proud of you. Because that's me too. I'm always proud of somebody. And I'm proud of you too. I'm proud of our audience. Thank you all for listening and watching Mompreneurs. Just as a reminder, a brand new podcast comes out each Monday live on Urban One Podcast Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Visit urban1podcast.com to learn more. That's urban1podcast.com. Mompreneurs is brought to you by the Urban One Podcast Network and MadameNoire. Created, produced, and hosted by me, Nancy Wren. Executive produced by Sarita Wesley, Allison McGovna, and Tanya Hoffler-Moore. Produced and edited by Jiminique Miller.